Hello everyone, and welcome to another wonderful episode of Split the Party, Party Foul's little separate YouTube special that we do with characters that find themselves away from the main party, away from the main story for now, so you can check in on them and see what's going on. If you haven't watched Split the Party Part 1, I really encourage you to do that right now, because some of the stuff that's happening here probably won't make very much sense unless you've seen at least parts of Part 1. And I don't want to spend a ton of time doing a recap for that. So pause this video, go watch part 1, and then come back to this video later, and you will thank yourself. Speaking of thank yous, I want to take a moment to thank Tabletop Audio, for which you will hear some wonderful background music throughout the episode. But what you're hearing right now is actually Waylon Roche's official Party Foul theme that he commissioned for us. So check out Waylon Roche on SoundCloud to see all the wonderful projects that he's working on, as well as maybe commission your own kind of music for your own D&D games or whatever else it might be. I also want to thank Adam from Comics and Coffee. Adam's character busts are in this wonderful little new overlay that we have, and you'll be able to see the debut of some pretty cool new character bust here in a minute, but that's part of a surprise, and we're going to hold on to it for the moment. Because for now, all I have here is Mandy playing our wonderful Furbog, Meena, as she has had one hell of an afternoon trying to fly her brother's body towards the Elderbog, where she wanted to bury it and potentially have some kind of reconciliation with her family. But that didn't go so well, right, Meena? Or at least it got interrupted by something. What's going on with Meena right now? Just really brief little update for everybody.
Oh, well, she was jailed, and then she broke out of those jail cells. So, well, she broke her and Gray's out of the jail cell and started to try to leave the cave system and ran into Solana.
Yes, Solana Birchwood. Solana is a member of Dawn's Council, which is the official sort of handy decision makers from Dawn's Promise, which is ruled by High Priest Darren Valdwell currently. So Solana doesn't have that much power, but she's sort of the next rung beneath it. Solana is also a Furbog, which is something worth mentioning on here. And Graze is not looking so hot, right?
He took a little bit of damage. I don't know how much, but
yeah. He seems to be limping pretty hard. You imagine that your healing spell that you cast on Graze last time did manage to stop any immediate damage or danger that he might be in, but he's not looking great. He's limping hard, and you feel like that might be some kind of permanent break that needs more than just a casual healing spell to fix that. And so, without further ado, we're going to hop back in straight to that scene where Meena and Graze are walking down the cave tunnel out of the prison cells from which they have broken out. Graze arm around Meena's shoulder, and Solana silhouette emerging at the end of the cave. And I'm going to switch the music for us now. Together as you have seen her on other occasions, and she cracks a small smile and says to you, "Took you long enough?"
What do you mean, took me long enough? What are you doing here, Solana?
Calm yourself, Meena. I don't mean you any harm. In fact, quite the opposite. I'm proud of you. There are not many that could overcome the temptations of returning home. Not everyone has such a rebellious spirit, Meena. Especially those raised in the Elderbog.
Did you put me in that weird dream?
Well, I made a bit of a compromise. I am familiar with your mother. Your father I do not know as well, but certainly his leadership has done little to remedy the Furbog's plight. No, no, he put that burden upon your head, as you've made clear to me. Which is fitting, I suppose. I headed off your travels and spoke with your mother. Your mother believes that if you set foot in the Elderbog and your tribe's territory, you will not be allowed to leave.
Where's brother's body?
I have delivered your brother's body to your mother. In exchange, she gave me the correct herbs and supplements to induce the beginnings of the purification ritual. We agreed that your response to the ritual would be, well, the determination of whether you go into the Elderbog forever or whether you could do a bit of a favor for me. I am, of course, delighted that, from what I can tell, you did not accept the offerings that the ritual gave you. I imagine it was quite difficult, Meena.
So once again, the furbolgs of the Elderbog are just your pawns to use. Is that the way that it is, Solana? You think you can just use me and I'll just do a favor for you because I decided not to be purified?
We got off on the wrong foot, Meena. I admit that. I did not expect to arrive at the funeral of Jean Sackville and find my granddaughter in a prison cell.
What?
Your mother and I are familiar, I said.
Yeah, you usually say that about someone that you've had tea with.
I have had more than tea with your mother. I am her mother.
Why is mother in the Elderbog then? Well,
I think at this point the interconnectedness of this plot should surprise no one, but, well, I do not know the nature of the curse bestowed upon us, upon your mother, upon you, but somehow the sons and daughters of the Army of the Loon find each other mostly by happenstance just when everything seems like it's falling apart. I fear the curse may simply be this perpetual cycle. Over and over again, a continent on the brink of destruction, the empty spreading across the land, and along comes a group ready to place a bandage on the open gash. Meena, I do not wish this curse for you, and I believe it is time that we break this cycle.
you're my grandmother?
Yes.
I don't want to be cursed. Okay.
Okay. I am sorry. I am sorry you have inherited my mistakes. I am sorry Finnegan has inherited my mistakes. Gwendolyn inherited my mistakes, or their parents' and grandparents' mistakes. It's all nature versus nurture, I suppose. But there's a few things that you need to understand. Before your party began its serendipitous adventures, before the Army of the Loon was even a twinkle in Jean's eye, another team existed. They called themselves the League of Utilitarian and Noteworthy Erudites. Everything had a little more frill back then, you see.
That's a terrible name.
Yes, I imagine their branding was not nearly as effective as the middlemen. She gives you kind of a look at that point. This is besides the point, of course. The League existed over a century ago and was hired by former High Priest Thurnankor Grottoval to investigate the causes of the Empty's spread. Just when they were making their greatest discoveries, Grottoval died in mysterious circumstances, and a brief power grab led to his nephew, Darren Volwell, being thrust into his seat of power as a compromise. Since that time, High Priest Darren Volwell has done everything in his power to eradicate all research concerning the Empty, and, most importantly, the League's recent discovery that the imbalance between the Shadowfell and the Feywild may be causing this issue. It is my belief, Meena, that this issue is the cause of the Empty spreading, of the distinct climate changes and sapping of nature that is occurring in the Elderbog and the arid flats. It might even be the cause of the lack of children of the Elderbog. Something I believe may spread to other parts of the region, though it seems the Furbolgs were first affected.
Mina's gonna, like, reach up and kind of touch Graze's hand and, just kind of, like, make sure that he's doing okay.
He's a little dumbstruck by this. He's just, like, learning 100 million things all at once and just kind of being quiet and trying to let you process and Solana explain things. You can tell he might want to sit down after feeling a little uncomfortable here.
Solana, getting out of the bars hurt Graze a little bit. Is there any benches further up, or do you have a hut or anything?
Oh.
I'm obviously not allowed to go home anymore, so...
Yes, just a moment, and you see, she looks around the cave for a moment and sees, like, a particular, stalactite hanging from the ceiling, and as she holds her hand up toward it, there's a bit of a rumble and a and one of the stalactites falls into the ground, shook, and sticks there, and it's sort of like a perfect little stool that Graze could sit upon.
I help him over to the stool and kind of set him down.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It'll be just a minute. I need to finish talking to Solana, and apparently she's got some sort of task that I'm gonna need to go on, so just wait here, okay? I'll try to see if maybe she might even be able to heal you up a little bit.
Okay, yes, I think that my leg is broken, but we will try.
Okay. She is gonna turn back to Solana. Alright, so some guy died, a new high priest came, decided to get rid of all of the information, and there's an imbalance between the Feywild and the Shadowfell. Did you know about the shadow people that are running around?
I was not aware.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a shadow me around somewhere. And I think there's still a shadow Neriad. I'm pretty sure we killed the rest, though. I don't know if that's gonna screw anything up with that whole imbalance thing. Doesn't really matter right now anyway, but, what do you want me to do? Because I'm just a Furbolg from the Elderbog. I don't know politics.
Well, you have quite the future ahead of you, I'm sure, whether it be in politics or otherwise. That said, to get right to the point, here you are. And she reaches into her pouch and hands you a scroll, which I will now pop up on Roll20. You see the sketch there of a older elven man with a very distinct pointed goatee beard, some very older style clothing. Meena isn't necessarily all up to par in terms of the styles of the region, but in your time in Port Zane, this seems a little like maybe what the oldest people in the city wore, and probably still a little bit weird. And you notice that he has this sort of look on his face of determination. That's the most revealing aspect of himself other than his elven features. Beneath the sketching of this man, you see a name. Vernorenkar Vantuus Elisendorelis. The common name of Vern. The rest of the profile lists his age, his sex, his race, his last known location, his next of kin, and some physical descriptions of him at the time of his disappearance, which it lists as roughly 120 years ago, just after the inauguration of High Priest Darren Volwell. Listed under his known associations are Ashran Amaryllis and Solana, in addition to a few other names that you don't recognize. This was the chief researcher of the League, Vernorenkar, though he went by Vern. His research helped everyone in the Monologue, and actually is one of the reasons why the observatory is such a thriving academic center today. He was diligent and voracious in his pursuit of knowledge. But after the inauguration, and things began to turn sour, Vern doubted the council's intentions. He doubted Volwell's ability to allow him to continue his research, and was probably correct. That was the last anyone ever heard from Vern. Scathing letter he wrote to the council, basically daring them to try to interfere with his crucial research. It is imagined that the research was burned, or lost, or buried, and Vern himself assassinated. Others presume that he ran straight into the empty and never came out. Ashran was obsessed with this story. He thought it was the key to figuring out everything, and in recent days since his resurrection, Ashran he's found the clues that he was needing. Some sort of epiphany. He has discovered that in the middle of the empty, where the Cult of Rebirth was digging up many, many things that they ought not to dig up, he found a imprint of some kind. Arcanic whisper, almost. And the more he investigated it, along with the help of Hitchcock and Old Bill, the more they came to realize Vern is alive, just on a different plane of existence. It's where you come in, Meena Moonbeam.
This is where I come in?
We need someone of capabilities to go into the Feywild, find Vern, protect him, and discover a way to bring him home.
Oh. And you think that I have those capabilities?
I can think of no one better. If we weren't so old, I imagine that we could do it. But the thing is, time works very differently in the Feywild, you see. It's unclear. We've had a few folks that we know have been able to travel there, but only one that's been able to travel back. And Old Bill, unfortunately, says he can't remember how he did it, which does not necessarily bode well. That said, Vern research has given us a chance to bring him home. He's our chance to break the cycle, Meena, to fix this imbalance in our world, to save your people, my people, everyone else, too. It is a lot to ask.
You realize you could be asking me to go on a suicide mission, right, Solana?
There are moments in life where if we live or we die, to ignore them is to choose dying anyway. Perhaps I send you to a mission that is dangerous, that could shorten your life, and that would pain me dearly. But I do not know how much longer this continent has. It may not matter.
I'll do it. But I probably should tell everybody else before I do it? Or maybe they'd probably try to stop me. Maybe you should just tell them.
I can really do that.
Okay.
So,
How do I even get into the Feywild?
well, thankfully, Bill has given me exactly what is necessary. I imagine that well, at some point in your life, you probably tried some of those ritualistic flowers in the Elderbog, yes?
Once?
Good. Well, this will be exactly like that, but, maybe way more trippy.
Great.
Solana begins to sort of look over your shoulder towards Graze.
Oh no. Graze is hurt. Will you help Graze get back to the monologue, I guess?
I will. I would be happy to do that. But I also want to tell you one last thing before we undergo this. She looks to Graze and she looks to you. As I said, time works very differently there. I cannot exactly tell you, Meena Moonbeam, when it will be when you get back, how long you would need to be away. I want you to work quickly, and I will work quickly to make sure that you can get back here, of course. Well, I think I've said what I need to say. I'll just be over here. And she walks, giving a knowing glance to Graze, and moves towards the entrance of the cave. Give you some privacy.
Did you hear all of that?
I did.
I'm sorry that you got hurt getting out of the bars.
It is okay. It is better than being in the bars.
I mean, that's arguable because Solana's here and she might have had a key to just get us out. Instead, it's not, doesn't matter. I have to go do this.
I know.
I'm sorry.
I know.
I'll do everything I can to come back, but you don't worry about waiting, because I might never come back.
He immediately grabs your hands. Come back. And don't worry about me until you do.
Oh, okay. I'll come back.
He squeezes your hand again and sort of shouts down the cave. If something happens to her, I will personally see it. That these are your last days on this plane. You hear a little, almost chuckle from Solana, which she stifles, knowing the pain of the moment.
Meena only has one of the sending stones, so can't do anything with that. She's just gonna reach out and just hug him as close as she can. And then she's gonna break away and move over to where Solana is, not looking back.
The hug is the warmest and tightest maybe Meena has ever received. And it really takes a moment of force to get yourself away. But you do. As you move towards the rain coming through the clouds, the familiar smells of the nearby Elderbog reaching your nose, not deep within, but you are close. Solana turns to you. He is a very kind man.
He is. He may be the kindest man that I've ever met.
Well, you are young. So, from what I understand, you simply need to place this beneath your tongue and just start walking. And don't stop until you know it's worked.
I'd ask how I'd know it's worked, but you probably don't have any idea. Does my mother know the nature of the favor that you were going to send me on?
I have to play things close to the chest, but I did tell her that if this works, you would be the savior of everything.
You can't go promising things like that, Solana.
Well, you have my blood in you, and we have high expectations.
If I get back, there will be a reckoning, Solana.
I would expect no less. You can see that she seems a little excited about this. A reckoning indeed. I look forward to it.
At least one of us does.
There you
She puts the flower under her tongue. Is there anything else that I should know? Anything about the Feywild?
Careful That's all you really hear of the message that she says, because you feel your body lurching forward as if it needs to move.
Great. So she's gonna start walking then.
The rain splatters across your furbolg leathery skin. Your hair's design starting to flatten out. The makeup that you may have or may not have put on for the journey, whatever's there, is starting to drip as it gets colder and wetter. And the sound of the rain continues. Louder and louder, your feet getting soggier as you trudge through what will become swampland. And as you look forward and your vision begins to dull and your senses begin to go a little bit of way, you swear across the horizon you see one last little silhouette, so similar to what you had seen in the ritual, but this time so distinctly the outline of your mother in the distance. And as that moment your heart leaps for a second, that wondering if that's her, everything fades out. And with that, I need you to switch to the other overlay. Hello and welcome, James.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm great. That was a lot to listen to.
I'm sure. Well, you get all these spoilers first, so you're the first one to jump into the circle. All right. Well, for those that are watching at this moment, the events that occurred toward the end of Party Foul Season 2, Episode 40, have led Finnegan on a particular journey that I encourage you to, again, catch up on. And James is going to be wearing different shoes for a little while, at least. Let me switch my music at this point before I get into anything else more specific. Okay. I'm just going to close it out because evidently I can't do a nice little transition. Here we go. All right. Vern. Your head pounds with a sharp pain. You try to reach and rub your temples in the common way that you would, but your arms don't obey you, as if they're being flattened, pushed away. You can feel them, but they don't do what you're telling them to do. Your next effort involves your eyes that are clasped, but despite your best efforts, your eyelids seem to weigh 3,000 pounds. Will not pry themselves up. Even your lips seem incapable of parting. And a painful, loud, white noise rings across your ears. All of your sensory perception is jumbled. The vision, the hearing, the touch, no tastes, and yet only one sense guides your mind as you feel air ever so slightly tickling the inside of your nostrils. Is that cinnamon? Licorice? No. Jam? Custard? And then these delightful smells all wrapping around your nose at once send shivers down your spine. Your worst fear has been realized. You must be with the jackal. The jackal. It's plagued you since your arrival in the Feywild so many years or minutes or months ago. No, how did he catch you this time? How did the jackal manage to solve your many traps that you laid around your... Wait, were you at home? Were you trying to investigate something with the berry fairy? No, that can't be it. Where were you last? Your mind continues to play tricks on you as slight little bits of memory seem to fade up into your head, and almost like they're snatched away, grabbed by something immediately. Finally, the white noise in your ear catches rhythms. It's not just noise. That's something slamming into something else and echoing across, roaring up, consistent ups and downs, and that's water. All around you, falling, crashing, tumbling, roaring in your ears. Finally, that weight on your eyelids pries up, and for just a moment, you get the slightest peek out of your left eye, and your vision is as painful as the headache. Colors and lines blur and shift around you. You quickly shut the eye again. You must be moving. In that brief moment, vertigo sets in. Your stomach lurches, even though your muscles won't obey you to vomit. Well, well, well. I finally caught you. The mysterious, the elusive, the prized visitor, the esteemed guest of the Fae. Not so elusive now, are you, Vern? And suddenly you feel all of that motion, all of that jumbled weight across your body snap. You feel like you've lunged forward and you smash into something in front of you that's wet and bubbly, and it didn't hurt you even though you feel like you're traveling 50,000 miles an hour. You take a second to breathe, and you begin to look around. Make a perception check for me, please, Vern.
Okay. Starting off good. 9.
9. As your vision comes blurrily, almost like your eyeballs were jumbling back and forth and they're finally settling in on something, you are suspended in some kind of water bubble? The water is moving, but not moving. It's as if you're flying, but you're also swimming. And you can't seem to control exactly anything beyond turning or twisting your body in different ways. And finally, after noticing this waterfall that seems to be surrounding this bizarre bubble thing that you're in, you catch a little flit across the corner of your eye. You snap to the left, but you can't catch it in time. Do you like my new contraption? Got tired of all those physics-bending tricks you've played on me since you got here? Just try to get yourself out of my hyperfolic chamber. Oh, come on, this is no fun if you won't talk to me, Vern.
Can I talk?
Do you try?
Yeah, I'll try to talk.
Okay, you timidly begin to part your lips, wondering if the water's going to rush in and ruin all of this, or what's going to happen. But as you do, they separate, and you aren't drowning, at least not yet. You feel like you might be able to talk.
If you don't like my tricks, Jackal, you won't like my attacks. Can I try to cast something against this hyperfolic chamber?
Yes.
What
do you cast?
I'll point towards something because I can move my limbs, can't I?
You begin to have, again, it's almost like you are, when your hands and stuff fall asleep and you can just kind of flop them a little bit more.
Yes.
That's sort of what this is, at least in the initial stages, what this feels like.
Okay. In that case, I swing my arm as fast as I can and utter Frigus Mito, and I cast Ray of Frost, but the icicles trail up my fingertips and hit this hyperfolic chamber, hoping to freeze it.
Okay, the first thing I want you to do is just make a dexterity saving throw to see if you can actually get the somatic components of the spell right.
Okay. That's good. 17.
All right, so as you whip your hand around, it's not perfectly obeying you, but as you kind of finally get your fingers clasped around and utter the right words and flick your arm forward, the rays and the ice bolts all traveling up and around your arm, and the outside portions you see not enough. The ice did form for a little moment around the outsides of this strange cell that you're in, but it not enough to completely freeze the water away. I told you. Now, you know what I want, Vern. You know, but you don't want to know. And that's why I know that you know, and why you know that I know that you know.
What is it you want, Jackal?
Oh, Vern. Only the most precious gifts will get you away from here. What is it you hold most precious, Vern?
I move my hand to my satchel as quick as possible and check and see if my small little vials of glass are in there.
Okay. You reach out towards your bag and fumble for a second, and yet, yes, there's just ever so slightly 2 small lumps inside the satchel. I'm waiting.
What do you want them for?
I want them because you want them, Vern. I want them because you need them, because you somehow pull them out of your own mind, and I can't get in there. I can get into all your other little thoughts, Vern. I can see every little bit of it, but not those 2, Vern. And I just, if you'll just drink them, if you'll just bring them back into your mind, and I'll take them away, and it'll be mine.
Never.
Well, I suppose you need another round of this, don't you? And suddenly, Vern, everything like a gravity pulse pulls you backwards again. You feel the bubble starting to, and it flies up and through the waterfall over and over and over again. The G forces of the simple motion now being the things holding your arm back, your legs back, your head back. Your eyelids can't force against it, and that white noise begins to travel in your head once more. Meena, as that silhouette fades away, a new brightness hits your eyelids. You're walking, your feet are moving, your body's in the right orientation to be moving forward, and yet, weirdly enough, you seem to be traveling down. Like you're walking down the sky towards the ground itself. You're not falling. You're definitely making this kind of thing happen, but the grass bed beneath you, blue and purple and green all mixed together, is getting closer and closer, like you're walking towards a giant fluffy bed of grass mattress that's about to catch you. What do you do?
This is so cool. And I walk faster.
You go faster towards it, and it's strange. The faster that you seem to be running, the further away that this grass gets. That's weird.
I stop.
What do? You stop, and the moment you stop, it starts to move towards you again, as if it's getting closer to you at this point.
What is happening?
Moving closer and closer. As you've stopped, what do?
I stay stopped.
You stay stopped, and suddenly you feel this almost as if a bit of rubber has yielded to your weight on the ground, and suddenly you are flipped and turned up in the air, and you're spiraling, and then suddenly you're just standing in a beautiful field of blues and greens and purples, a bright yellowish light trying to gleam through everything else, and yet not quite so. The most common thing that you can remember is seeing Zaundur use this spell. What did he call it? Fairy fire? That must be this. Those dots around you, little glimmers of stardust, almost? It's as if every little layer of light is this curtain that's refracting things, and yet you reach toward it and there's nothing there. It's just air.
Am I able to move forward now?
As your body tries to take the step forward, your immediate center of gravity is tousled, and you feel your body jumble over to the side once again, and you fall to your right, and suddenly, boing, and you're brought back up to what you think is standing.
Solana said to walk until I know that I'm there. I don't know that I'm there yet, so let's keep walking.
You take another step forward, but this time your center of gravity lurches to the left, and you feel your entire body bounce back forward, and you're suddenly now, again, upright, walking forward. That ain't it. What do you do next?
I'm gonna try walking backwards.
As you walk backwards, you take that first step to your rear, and it falls nicely. Okay. That's not off. You're able to go backwards.
I'm gonna keep going backwards slowly, because she's probably super disoriented at this point from flipping and everything, so she's just gonna slowly try to see if she can walk backwards.
Backwards a step, backwards a step. Progress is being made. The horizon getting a little smaller as you go one step at a time. Back, 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 back. And suddenly, bump. There, to your rear, you feel something feathery. Something beaked.
How big is it?
Larger than you.
Mina's going to slowly turn around and see if she can see what is behind her.
As you try to pivot and turn around, you feel the feathery body that's behind you shifting with you.
She's gonna try going super fast to turn around really quickly to see if she can go faster than whatever's behind her.
All right, go ahead and make a we'll call this acrobatics, I think.
Okay. That's a 4.
4. Yeah, you immediately realize that when you're trying to do this backwards thing and going really, really quickly, you accidentally take a step too far to the right, so you're not going backwards anymore, and suddenly, boing, you feel your entire body bounce on the ground again and be brought straight forward, again hitting those feathers. And finally, you hear a voice say, "Hey, watch where you going."
Excuse me?
Yeah, excuse you.
Well, what are you... I want to turn around, and you keep turning around with me. Can you not do that so I can see what is happening, please?
You're not making any sense. I've not moved since you've gotten here.
What are you?
That's a very rude question. Why don't you just look at me?
I tried.
Oh no, you're new here, aren't you?
Where is here?
Hang on. And you feel the creature suddenly wrap a length of feathery wings around you, like a nice big embrace by some kind of giant thing. And you're immediately flown up into the air, and then the creature's wings let you go. You begin to fall, but a giant paw reaches down and snatches your leg and holds you up and dangling in the air and begins to shake you like you're some kind of cloth that has some dirt on it. That should do it there. And you feel your whole body just undulating in the air, all sorts of craziness happening, and your eyes begin to focus, and suddenly everything kind of turns and rights itself, and now you're on the ground again, and you're staring right at a beautiful winged creature with a large beak and talon paw-like hands, And the back of the body? That's not bird-like. That's kind of more feline almost. What is going on? What do you do?
I can see you now.
Well, that's nice.
Before you shook me and did whatever you did, I asked you a question and then you just ignored me and just kind of flailed me around for a little while. Can you please tell me where I am?
I hate new ones. Welcome to the Feywild.
Are you some sort of welcome committee with, like, pamphlets and stuff?
Let's just say I've got some responsibilities, and it seemed like a real cushy job. And now there's just people flying in all the time. I had a little mouse fucker try to steal all my shit recently. It was... Anyway.
What was the mouse's name?
I don't know. Just kind of ran off singing a song. Seemed like he understood that I'd been here before, so...
Oh. Okay, what's your name?
My name is Hippolyta.
Hippolyta. Can I call you Hippo?
Yeah.
What about Lata?
You know, I do like Hippolyta, but, you know, you do what you do.
Okay, so I have a couple questions. My first question, I was sent here to find someone. That's really not that important, though. My second question, how do I make sure that when I go back to the real world, I don't lose a bunch of time?
Those are two very complicated questions.
Which is the least complicated of the two
Well,
questions?
Depending on who you're looking for, I reckon I could tell you what I know.
She's gonna pull out the pamphlet that Solana gave her. His name is Verno Rinkar Ventuis Elisandorels. Vern Elison?
Yep. All right. Yep. He's a wry one. Doesn't necessarily get along with everybody else, but you know, I just let bygones be bygones.
Well, I'm supposed to try to get him and bring him away from the Feywild, so will that make people happy?
Well, yeah. Probably at least some of them.
Can you introduce me to the people that it would make happy, and maybe they can help me get him out of the Feywild?
You see that there's this other, like, sort of snake-like appendage that, like, grows out of the feathery front of the creature and reaches up and scratches the bottom of the beak. I'll do it if you trade me something real nice.
Like what?
What do you got?
What do I have? What do people find nice in the Feywild? Do you like things that are...
Mostly things that aren't from here. You know, we get a little bored of the fairy dust and the spectacle berries and all that other stuff.
I have a really, really cool thing that you probably don't have here.
Oh.
She's going to reach into her bag and grab out her bedroll.
Okay.
Look! You can sleep on it. It's even kind of like got a blanket and a pillow. It's normal, mundane stuff from Mind World.
There's a bit of a glimmer in the creature's eye. Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Okay. 14.
14. This thing sort of uses the beak to try to sniff and then goes, oh, wait, sorry, that's not how I do that. And it turns itself around and you see that on its hind paw, there's this kind of strange looking nose that's been connected to its paw. And it reaches the paw out and just, you see the nostrils almost like a pig snorting forward. I'll take it, but I need something else too.
Like
More of
what?
that mundane stuff.
More mundane stuff. Hmm. Well, I have... Are you a girl or a boy?
What?
I have a potion that could change you from a girl to a boy or a boy to a girl.
I'll take it.
Okay. It's really expensive, so there's nothing else that I'm going to give you. That was a very expensive potion.
What's expensive?
In my world, we use money to buy things.
Oh, is it precious?
Yes, money is very precious. And this takes lots of precious.
I like precious. I can make a trade with the jackal for precious. That's great. Yes, put it there in the bedroll.
Okay. She's gonna set the potion down in the bedroll, and can you show me either to Vern or to people who can show me to Vern, please?
Hang on. And you see that the beak of the creature begins to like clamp itself around the bedroll where the potion's rolled up in it, and it like raises its neck up, and at the middle of its neck you can see this like large bizarre tongue reaching out of it, and it takes the bedroll and it kind of licks the tongue up towards the beak, wraps it around it, and then rolls it up into its own little neck, and then the creature folds back over again. So, Vern. Who would want Vern gone? Actually, I've got something to trade the jackal now. And that jackal wants Vern to leave. Or maybe he wants Vern to stay forever. Hard to tell. Come on. And the creature like kneels down for a second and allows you to climb onto its part feline, part feathery back.
Meena is going to clamber up, and as she's clambering, she's going to just kind of start chattering to Hippolyta. Excuse me for the rudeness. I know I already asked you what you are, and you said that was rude, and I asked you if you were a boy or a girl, and that was probably a little bit rude too. But are you an animal?
What?
I think that you're stunning and absolutely fascinating. And I have a couple talents. And one of those talents lets me change into animals. And if you're an animal, I really would just love to stare at you for about 15 minutes.
I'm Hippolyta. That's all I got.
Okay, Hippolyta, you're just so stunning. Would you mind if I stared at you for a little while anyway later?
Maybe for another trade, for another time. And the wings begin to unfurl, and they are feathery at their base, and they turn into bat-like wings towards their tips. And you see this kind of flapping pattern happening around the wings as you are lifted up into the air, and then begin to swoop around. Meanwhile, Vern, your body's thrown and jostled back and forth once again. And after a few moments, it finally lurches forward in a sudden stop. Give it up, Vern.
Go to Asmodeus.
Is that all you got, really? You had all that time to think of something, and you're just gonna go with, go to Asmodeus?
Yes.
Look, I really would just prefer not to waste all this time. You're eventually going to give them to me, and I'm eventually going to let you go. Why don't we just do both of those things right now, Vern?
Tempting. Or you can go for another spin. I've got all the time in the world.
And you hear this kind of like sound, and suddenly shunk, your body's thrown back once again, being jostled and whipped around in there. Are you trying to do anything while this happens, or you're just going to take it?
Yeah, every rotation, I'd like to see if I can see how if it slows down or when it picks up at all.
Okay.
Or if it's just like if it's like an on-off switch and it just starts at 100, or if it goes from like 0 to 100 and what that rate is.
Yeah. Good question. I mean, this is a very physical thing that you're checking on, but you're also trying to think it through.
Mhm.
So I guess I'm gonna just call that a hmm. Guess call that. Let's just call it Arcana, because I think
Okay.
that's a probably the fairest way. Like, how does this magically work?
Okay. So that's an 11 on the die. That brings me up to 20 dirty.
Whoa. Okay, with a dirty 20. Yeah, this is the third loop through this. The first one you weren't really sure what to pay attention to. The second one you just threw you off guard. This time, very distinctly, you hear some kind of mechanism, which means this might be physical, at least in the way that it's moving you around. There's definitely magic all around you, but maybe it's physical in the way that it's being rigged. That's
Okay.
interesting. It does go from 0 to 100 pretty quickly, and from 100 to 0 pretty quickly, but in the pickup, you do have this moment of like, I can move a little bit for maybe a second or two right before it hits at 100 max an hour.
Okay.
And then after you're jostled and jostled and jostled for a minute, letting that move around your brain for another God knows how long, suddenly that lurching begins to happen again as everything shuts off. Burn, I'm getting bored, and you know the jackal doesn't like to be bored.
Can I try and, because I'm in the Feywild and I do have a familiar, but they
Mm-hmm.
are from the Feywild.
Mm-hmm.
Can I try and get them to come to this location?
Yes. Let me think about this for a second. You have a distinct feeling that your familiar is very close by. It's
Okay.
hard to tell because of the chamber that you're in, but as you kind of reach your mental presence outward, it's really close. It's just
Okay.
over here somewhere.
Okay. Can I try to tell Nomura to try and find what's moving this device?
Okay. You send the message along and you hear a very familiar in your mind.
Good girl. Keep looking.
What is it?
Jackal.
What are you thinking? What's going on in your brain? Hold on a second. And then immediately you feel that little
No.
moment of mental energy pulled out of your mind. And suddenly, do you have a familiar? You remember summoning something. Oh, God. Maybe you just have a pet. What is that thing? Oh, trying to get tricky, are we, Vern? I don't like tricky unless I'm the one doing tricky.
No tricks. Can I you said it was close.
Mm-hmm.
Can I see through Nomura's eyes if it's within range?
You know, go ahead and just roll a let's roll a D100 and see
Great.
how this goes.
Fantastic. 72.
72. Okay. As you begin to let your eyes roll back for just a moment to try to see through the eyes of the creature, there is a view that is looking up to the sky. Why is your pet looking up to the sky? That's weird. And you see something flying in right across its peripheral vision. And then it begins to look over and it sees the jackal. The jackal, you would know, Vern, from your different interactions with it, is about the size of your thumb. It is this incredibly tiny creature that, if you looked at it from a distance, is more than a speck of something. How could something look at just that little? Even the fairies are bigger than this kind of thing. And in some of your recent interactions with the jackal over across all this time, you have been able to zoom in on it a bit. And you know, the further and the closer you actually get to seeing it, it's this tiny rabbit like creature with these funny little antlers across it, and this big buck teeth, and a real crooked smile. And part of its brain is actually external in its own skull. Truly hideous. as you remember what the jackal looks like.
Great. I despise that 100%. Can I see this hyperbolic chamber?
You can. So as your familiar begins to peer around and look towards you, you see that there is this waterfall that is suddenly almost like curling in on itself. So there's just a natural waterfall across the Feywild, and it's as soon as the water hits the bottom, it flings itself back to the top as if there's some kind of perpetual motion machine that has been created with the water continuously flinging you in centrifugal motion in all the physical and smart ways that Vern would process this.
In that case, since I can see myself sort of, Vern will, in Nomura's eyes, my familiar's eyes, bring their hands to their chest and splay out towards the hyperbolic chamber walls, if possible.
Mm-hmm.
And smile towards where I think the jackal is relative to my position. And I'd like to manifest echo and create an echo of myself through Nomura's eyes 15 feet away from me.
Okay.
Is that something I can do? I don't know
you can
logistics.
Certainly try. Just have to all these new spells. I familiarize myself, but I gotta make sure.
No, you're fine.
That's really great until it's destroyed, dismissed, a bonus action. Okay, so Nomura almost copies your rhythmic movements that you do inside the chamber. The jackal suddenly gets very tense in the voice. What are you doing, Vern? Not more of that, Vern. And you see that like the impulse that you have to tell Nomura to do this kind of thing, and that last little memory you have of a familiar is snatched away. And you're just hoping the hell that this worked, because you can't quite remember what you were doing 5 seconds ago. No more tricks, no more tricks. And the jackal turns to its left, and it sees a shimmering echo of you outside of it.
It sees a version of me, but way more, I guess, Feywild taken. Way more natural and woodland-like. Bits of fairy fire sort of coming off of their shoulders. And it looks at the jackal and says, I've got more than tricks. And as a bonus action, I can switch places with my echo. And can I do that?
Okay, as you attempt to switch places with your echo, your body is slammed into the chamber, as if this thing has magically locked you inside, and your echo, as intimidating as it was, only shimmers towards the jackal.
Okay.
I thought of that one already, Vern.
Did you?
You know, I prefer you in this form. You look a little more handsome.
I don't know what to say to that. Can I? He's at a loss of words. Can I do an action, or am I?
One more thing, and we'll cut back
quite a bit
to something else. Yeah, what's one last thing that you might want to try here?
Then my echo will. I need to double check here that I can do this actually. So I'll try to take my sword in my physical space, and can I take the attack action against the hyperbolic chamber?
Yeah.
Great. Then I will swing, and I'm not really looking to do anything. Well, like any damage or anything towards this at all.
It's impossible to miss. Like literally, your sword barely fits in here. So as you like kind of pull it out, it's like, how do I not poke the edge of this thing? So you just thrust it forward into what's in front of you.
Yeah, I'll thrust it forward, and at that same time, this shimmery version of myself, it can attack as well whenever I take the attack action. So if it's close enough, I'd like for it to take out a hand crossbow and shoot at the jackal.
Okay, cool. That's perfect. We'll pause on that for 1 second.
Okay.
Meena, as you begin this crazy fast journey. How can you possibly be traveling this fast? It feels like you're not going that fast, and yet the world around you is blurring as if you're going hundreds of miles an hour, but it's just a nice little brisk wind around you. These things just don't seem to add up or make sense. But finally you hear Hippolyta say, right down there, I think. Usually trying some weird things around here. All right. And then the descent begins, and you begin to beeline down towards what you can immediately hear and see is a large waterfall. And you head towards the ground, and the creature swoops at the last second and lands probably 100, 150 feet away from this waterfall that stands in the middle of this large purple crags section of a mountain that's around you.
That was so cool. It's really beautiful here. Did you know that?
It looks like it always does.
Well, it looks so different from everything that I've ever seen.
Well, I guess you live with your eyes closed. Anyway.
What?
The jackal is somewhere around here. We should be able to witness it fairly soon.
Jackal!
And at this moment, Meena, as you shout out Jackal, your vision turns away from the beautiful scenery and towards the waterfall, where you can see this weird blurry thing kind of moving up and down, and suddenly that blur stops and hovers in the middle of the waterfall for a second. You see, about 125 feet away from you, a shimmer happen, as almost if reality kind of bent for a moment, and everything else around you is beautiful and vibrant in color, and yet the thing that you see looks gray and translucent, almost like it's a old movie character that's in the middle of a naturally colored TV show or something that just it's like popped in. And yet the creature that you see has all of these strange armors and tattoos and things around it from this distance. Maybe that's the jackal.
I'm gonna walk over towards that the figure that I see.
Oh, we should be a little more subtle, maybe. And then you have outrun the pace of Hippolyta quite quickly as that fades away. And as you get closer, you see this weird shimmer lean down, stare at something incredibly small on the ground, pull out a crossbow, and begin to fire. Go ahead and roll that attack for me, James.
Great. So that's a 19 on the die plus a 7.
That hits.
Great.
Let's kill this fucking jackal.
Excuse me.
So it's a 3 on the die, so it's a 9. No, I'm sorry, 6 damage.
6 damage. Okay. You hear in your mind, or is it speaking to you? It's kind of been unclear this entire time.
Hey, no, that's not acceptable. Ow, nothing ever hits me. That really, really hurt. Ow, why would you hurt me like that, Vern? I've never been that mean to you. Come on, this is just a game. Why are you gonna be so weird? Oh, jeez.
I've had enough games. My Echo's gonna load another crossbow bolt.
Okay, Vern. Can you please just call off the... Come on, Vern. I just want to see what you're hiding from me, Vern. Come on.
When he takes my memories, do I have them back after he's finished, or is he like eating them?
Are you trying to remember something new, or what are you trying to recall?
I'm trying to remember something that I forgot.
Exactly. It becomes a bit of a difficult thing to do. Go ahead and make a wisdom, just a wisdom check, not a saving throw, to see if you can like
wisdom save is so much
outsmart
better.
this.
So it's a 14 on the die for a 16 total.
Okay. As you try to remember the first thing that the jackal said to you when you first came back, oh yeah, you can remember that. So he seems to be munching on them and then somehow regurgitating them back to you.
Okay, but it's like a slow process then?
It is a bit of it's a slow process. They seem to fade back in. And you don't know if he does it with every single memory because you don't remember. You can't necessarily remember what you forgot.
Yeah.
But this one, it's almost, I guess, in your mind when you think about the beginning of that conversation when he said, well, I finally caught you. It's almost like the words are like, well, one finally caught mysterious prize esteemed guest fail. It's like the memory has been chewed on and is still there, but like these wet teeth marks are all around it in your mind if you were to associate these things together for a second.
Okay. All right, Jackal. You won't be munching on these memories, but I can show you if you promise to leave me alone.
Oh? Okay. Yeah. I'll leave you alone. Why not? Sounds easy.
Are you a rabbit of your word?
Yes.
Is this fucker lying?
Make an insight check.
It's a 14 on the die. Insight of 16.
You feel that he would say just about anything to get this.
Yeah, that's true.
But that said, in your many encounters with the Jackal previously, they want things and they do tricky things to get them, but you can't remember any lies being told to you. So it's this like desperation meets a chaotic person,
They have a code.
but they might have a code.
Okay. All right. We need to break down this hyperfolic chamber. No, press my hand against this water again.
I tell you what, you give me one of them now, and one of them later.
You can't see them unless this is down. Let me bring my hand out then.
You line up the memory now, and then I'll drop it so I can have a little taste.
You won't be chewing them. You'll be looking at them.
Yes, maybe a sniff, maybe a little lick, but I won't chew.
Deal. And I'll ready. Okay, already one memory.
Okay.
So I'll bring it. I'll put my hand into my satchel and pull out this small, well, not crystal, but it's a crystal-like vial, and it has a gold and a silver end cap, and inside is this mist, almost like a condensed storm, almost as lightning crackles against it. It's like prismatic in color. It's a myriad of colors, and I twist the gold cap, and the smoke starts to billow out, and I'll be displaying a memory, sort of like a hologram, ready for the Jackal to see.
You could almost hear the salivation that's happening in the Jackal's mouth as it can tell that the memory is ready and just inches away from it. Meanwhile, Meena, you have gotten closer to the shadowy figure that you imagine might be the Jackal that just shot a crossbow bolt forward. You're probably about 50 feet away at this point. What do you do?
Mr. Jackal! Excuse me, I've been told that you can help me find someone. Please, can you... What are you shooting at?
Meena, as you begin to walk forward, you get about 10 feet closer, 15 feet closer, and right as you're around the 30 to 35 foot range, you bump into something. There's nothing there. Bunk, bunk. You're thinking, not again. This stupid place is so weird. Bunk, bunk, bunk. It is as if there's some kind of energy thing that's trapped you just outside of what's going on. They don't seem like they are responding to what you're saying. What do you do?
I'm gonna grab my dagger out and attempt to stab the barrier.
Okay, make an attack roll.
22 to hit.
That hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Just 4 points of piercing.
You suffer 4 points of piercing damage, Meena, as
Oh,
you stab
motherfucker!
forward, and you suddenly, it's almost like your hand turns and hits you and punches right into your side.
Why did that? That's not normal.
I tried to tell you to be careful, but, subtlety, trying to find it out, as Hippolyta seems to be flying/slithering.
Why would I need to be careful for why would a barrier make me stab myself?
That's what you really are from here, aren't you? Jeez.
I thought we already established that I'm not from here. You shook something off of me. What did you shake off of me, by the way?
Sort of your brain? You have to get yourself in a particular kind of place for any mindset, for any of stuff here to make any sense, you see. And if you're stuck in your old ways of thinking, well, you can't get through any of this stuff.
So, if I think that I can get through the barrier, can I get through the barrier?
Unclear, but
Okay.
whatever way you might try normally, probably not gonna work here.
Well, I tried to beat the barrier down.
Yeah, that was really dumb.
Thanks, Hippolyta.
Always here for help.
I really believe I can get through this barrier. I do.
Good for you.
What, Hippolyta? I don't know that I really appreciate your tone. Do you have any ideas of ways to get through the barrier, or are you just going to let me do trial and error until I make a fool of myself?
Well, I was going to help, but now I'm just going to do that. That sounds way more interesting, and it's been a very boring life.
Oh, well, my life has actually been pretty exciting the last couple of months. You should go adventuring.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna try to talk to the jackal now. So, you want to keep following and watching me, I guess?
Yeah.
All right, for every minute that you watch me, I get a minute of watching you. Deal?
We'll see. We'll see. How are you going to get through the barrier?
I'm going to walk through it.
Okay. You try that?
Yep.
You begin to walk. Bonk. You bounce right off of it.
Well, walking didn't work. What if I dance through it? And she'll dance through it.
I'm going to need you to tell me what kind of dance moves Meena does.
Better yet, show us.
Yeah, even better.
I'm sitting down. I can't show you.
Well,
Darn, I guess you can't dance through it then.
yeah, tough.
I don't have very much room I can move around in. Just imagine she's go-go dancing.
Where did Meena learn to go-go dance?
She made it up in her brain.
Okay, all right.
Revolutionary.
You begin. We'll fix this in post. Don't you worry, friends. We'll have Mandy tape herself go-go dancing, and we'll put it in right here. Okay, right here.
I hate you.
Meena begins to go-go dance, and what I need you to do now is make an intelligence saving throw.
Okay. 13?
You begin to do all sorts of gyrations and kicks, and you feel as you go towards the barrier, there's this kind of like give to it for a moment. And then suddenly, and it pushes your body back out. That was a little more interesting, but you have to keep thinking different.
Okay, so walking didn't work, dancing didn't work. Last time walking backwards worked, but do two things usually work the same way in the Feywild, or is it like once something works, it no longer works anymore, Hippolyta?
What?
Well, maybe if I don't do it as myself, I can trick the barrier. Yeah, that's what I'll do. She's going to cast Disguise Self on herself.
Okay.
And she is going to look like a taller version of Gwendolyn with blonde hair.
Okay. Tall blonde Gwendolyn. How are you trying to get through? You just walk through at that point? What do you do?
She's just walking through.
Okay. Go ahead and make a intelligence saving throw with advantage.
Thank God for advantage. That was a nat 1. 17.
17. This time you, as Gwendolyn, beginning to just trudge forward, the barrier is there, bonk, it bounces, and then suddenly the barrier begins to kind of glow. It seems to be reacting to the charm of magic you have around you. It's still there, but you can now kind of see the outlines of this, these strange little swirls that are cascading across this area. That's different.
Hippolyta, does the Fae like magic?
Well, yeah,
Oh, why didn't you just say that?
that would have been no fun.
Do you think that I could, well, I wasn't really planning on going on an adventure today, so well, what if and she's going to hold her hands out, and she's going to cast Thunderwave at the barrier to see if she can break it down. So it'll look almost like sound waves coming out of her hands, but they're going to glow silver and purple.
Okay, that silver and purple sound wave begins to ripple across the entire thing. Go ahead and roll damage for Thunderwave.
Okay. How far away are the echo that I think is the jackal and the jackal from this?
30-ish.
Okay, so they're not 15 feet. Good. It is 14 points of thunder damage.
You suffer 14 points of thunder damage.
Oh, God damn it! Hippolyta!
All right. Look, you're trying to get through a barrier that doesn't want you to get through it. Maybe if you tried to make the barrier stronger and help the barrier wouldn't have a reason to keep you out
But
anymore.
why would I want to make the barrier stronger?
Why wouldn't you? It just makes complete sense.
No, it doesn't.
Well, I can't help you then.
Okay. You are worthless, Hippolyta. And you've been watching me for 2 minutes. So, I guess maybe, do your plants grow here?
The Bollox just like sort of arcs their beak around and looks at the dense forest around. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's see if, yeah. And she's going to hold her hands out. I've never really done this before, so don't laugh at me if it fails. And she's gonna hold her hands out, and they're gonna start glowing like this bright green color. And she's having it focus over the area where the barrier is. She's casting plant growth.
Okay.
To attempt to make the grass and whatever is at the, like, on the ground living, grow up. And she's only going to cast it for 1 minute instead of over the 8 hours, because she doesn't want to enrich the land. She's just trying to make this grow thick and overgrown.
Okay. What is your intention as you cast the spell?
To make the barrier have thick, overgrown grass around it, too, to make it stronger, because that's what Hippolyta told me to do.
Okay. We're going to get back to that. You're casting that over the minute, but as you begin to cast the spell and the grass gets this ever so slight kind of rumble and sway as the plants react to your magical energy, the swirls around the barrier are becoming brighter and getting more rapid as the circles begin to wave and wave and wave. Pretty good sign.
This is so beautiful, Hippolyta!
I guess. Back to you, Vern. You see in your mind's eye the jackal.
All right, Vern. Don't try anything crazy now. I just need to give that a little sniff. That's all.
And suddenly, Vern, the outskirts of this hyperbolic chamber kind of begin to fold open as if an egg is being cracked around your body, and the yolk of you starts to spill out and slime towards the waterfall, and you splash towards the bottom of this kind of thing.
Ugh.
The memory still hovering in the air above you like a holograph. Bring it over here, Vern. Bring it right over here, right now.
No funny business, Jackal. And I'll
No funny business from you there, Vernie.
stand up, and I'll I'll sort of tilt my head or cock it, and the echo will fade away. As I'll walk forward with my memory in hand towards this rabbit.
Okay. You swim a little bit to get to the edge, pull yourself up, and begin to walk forward with that image being projected. That little speck of rabbit that's sitting on this little stump here, you can see as you kind of focus in a little bit more, you can see sort of like the legs bobbing in excitement and the fingers beginning to unravel and stuff as you get towards the jackal closer and closer. And the memory is of what?
It's almost a memory of a memory. It's more. It has some auditory, some audio to it. So it's a woman's laughter, and then the memory itself visually is just like the crinkling of these green eyes, and what you can assume to be a smile.
Ha, 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 ha. Yes. It's so precious to you, Vern. It's so precious. Maybe just a little nibble, maybe just a little,
Absolutely
just a little
not.
pinch, please.
I'll close it. I'll close the tube.
Oh, Vern. All right. I'm gonna need the next one, Vern. It's gonna be really important for you to give that second one like we agreed.
Yes, and you won't eat it like we agreed.
I won't. Just like we agreed.
You keep saying that, and I'm just reminding you, you're not eating it.
I'm just repeating what you're saying. I'm not eating it.
You're not taking it either.
I'm not taking it either.
Fine. I'll put one memory in, and I'll take out the next one.
All right.
And I'll twist the gold cap.
As you begin to untwist the gold cap, Meena, your plant growth starts to affect the barrier. You can actually see these swirls begin to have viney outgrowths from away from them, as if they're all becoming manifest in the spell. The barrier is growing into the ground like the ground is growing into the barrier. And as those swirls get bigger and bigger and vinier, as you're putting your hand towards the barrier, your hands begin to slip through.
The minute my hand slips through, I start walking, but I keep casting the spell as I'm walking.
Okay. You put one foot in front of the other, and it's like this giving. It's almost like you're pushing through. You know that scene in The Matrix when the original Neo's coming out of his like weird hyperbolic chamber, the stretchiness across his, or even like an urukai being born. You're pushing through this fleshy barrier around you that is no longer translucent. As you push to the other side of it, you can kind of see that it's now a very crystalline reflection of the waterfall around it, almost like you're inside of a giant mirror. And you begin to push through and squeeze your body out through the thing. And Hippolyta goes, "Oh, wait, you got to make the hole big enough for me." And suddenly, shook, the barrier closes behind you. And as your eyes begin to focus and the sort of slimy after thing on your skin fades away for a second, there he is, Vern, standing, looking at a stump, unscrewing a gray or golden cap on a bottle.
I was supposed to go see the jackal who was going to help me find you, but you're right here. Well, are you the jackal? Did Hippolyta trick me?
What's going on, Vern?
Person?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You in the middle of unscrewing the cap, see a tall furbolg woman push her way through some barrier or something that must be surrounding the jackal's hideout. The jackal's voice. What's going on?
I said
Who are
no
you?
tricks, Jackal. I'll
I didn't-
twist
I
the
just-
cap on again.
No, that's not me. I don't know who that is. Do you know who that is? Who are you? And Meena, you hear this little voice coming from a stump.
Mina's going to stride over to the stump relatively quickly to see what's going on.
Stay back, I don't trust you.
What? What do you mean I mean, I guess I probably wouldn't trust me either if I was that small. Well, what are you?
What am I? What are you?
I'm a furbolg. What are you? Answer my question, please.
Vern, who is she? What is a furbolg?
Furbolgs are from. Do I remember?
Make a history check.
That's an 11 on the die. My history, so it's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Yeah, you didn't spend a ton of time in sections of the Elderbog, but Solana, younger, much younger, looks a lot like that.
Solana, is that
I'm
you?
not Solana.
Then who are you?
My name is Meena. Meena Moonbeam.
Well, Meena, Moonbeam. Leave.
No, I was sent to come and get you.
I don't think so. No one's come to get me in quite some time.
Well, they were busy, probably. I don't know. They sent me now, and they said that you're gonna save the world, so I need you to come with me.
I'll look to the jackal. What's this fucker doing? Does this look like it's his doing?
The jackal, as you've been distracted by Meena, as you look back over to the stump, can't find the jackal.
I'll look back at this hyperfolic chamber. Is it there?
It's still kind of like a floppy egg that's been opened in the middle of a waterfall. It's just kind of sitting there.
Okay.
Where'd the little one go? I wanted to look at him. I've never seen
Hopefully far away from
something like that. What is it? Was that the jackal? Or wait, are you the jackal?
here. Gods, no. I'm von Odenker, tenuous Alessandros. You said you're from the world. From Solana sent you.
Yep. She sent me.
You telling the truth?
You can insight check
Yeah.
if you'd like.
I've been tricked too many times. 18 on the die, insight, dirty 20.
She seems to be pretty truthful here. Unless you're hiding something, Meena.
No, she's not even hiding. I was just going to say her dislike of Solana, she might hide slightly, but no, she's not. She's not hiding that.
Yeah. Not only is she sent by Solana, but every time that word is mentioned, there's this like slight grimace that happens across Meena's face. Not even slight. Meanwhile, what's your passive perception, Vern?
16.
Okay. Keep going.
Okay. In that case, I'll be slowly approaching, like hands out, almost like I'm approaching an animal. And when I get close to this Meena, I'll like tap her to see if she's like physical.
Okay. So you're tapping her. You still got the vial in one hand, and you're tapping her with the other one, right? Okay. So you tap her, and Meena, do you let him tap you?
She probably will back away a little bit and be like, "Whoa, what are you doing?"
I can't trust them.
She'll put her hand out to touch where his hand is instead of letting him just hit her.
Oh, yeah, he smacks your hand. I'm almost like in a high five.
Yeah.
And pulls away.
Oh,
Puts the vial into his hand.
the little guy. Hippolyta had something that he wanted to trade him or give to him. I'm not really quite sure. Where's Hippolyta?
As you begin to move the vial into your satchel, Vern, you feel a sharp pain in your finger. And as you pull your hand up very quickly, a stream of blood goes across your entire hand as the jackal has leapt onto your hand and is trying to bite away your finger and steal that vial. I'm going to call this a grapple challenge, even though the jackal is so small. So let's make contesting either athletics or acrobatics check.
I'll be using acrobatics.
How dexterous are your fingers?
Pretty dexterous. We find that out soon enough. 10 on the die, 13 total.
Okay, Jackal. We're using a digital roller.
Does he say that? Jackal!
Jackal rolled a natural 20.
Oh no.
Vern, you are trying to whip your hand away, but their next little bite, you feel the blood seep through your fingers, and the vial slips from your grasp for a moment. And the jackal swoops it into his tiny little paw and tries to hop away from you. What do you do?
I will be stopping that.
Okay, how do you do it?
I will say, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'll say, I said no tricks, and I'll hold up my hand towards them, and I'll say, Harani Mito, and I will cast Magic Missile towards this creature.
Okay. Go ahead and roll damage for that magic missile. Meena, how do you react to this? Suddenly you see Vern wince in pain a couple times. Something dropped from his hand, and he immediately shoots some missiles towards the air? Question mark?
Well, she would have been looking around for Hippolyta for part of that. So
Okay.
she probably would have just come back, seeing the blood dripping from his hand and him shooting missiles out of it. And would have just probably relaxed back and been like, what? I don't...
Okay.
This is weird here.
That's not the damage there. I think that's...
No, that's the to hit, so that's the 2 extra ones.
Yeah, I mean, it's auto hits.
No, not this one.
Oh, this one doesn't. That's right. Oh, yeah, I forgot about yours. Okay. So the first one will miss. The second one will hit.
Okay. So that's just, those are just the 2 extra ones. I got 3 more coming.
Okay.
So that's a... What? Oh my god. 21.
21 is the Jackal's AC.
17.
Misses.
And even higher than 21.
Okay. So 3 of those missiles do hit.
Hits, that is... Alright, this is a new spell. Make okay, so 3 hit total.
Yes.
So first one is 14 damage total.
14 total damage. You see
third level magic missile.
Third level of Vern's special version of this.
Yeah.
Meena, you've seen magic missile be cast by Neriad a couple times. This is more crude and bubbling in the way that Vern summons these missiles. Neriad, for all of his chaos, is a little more precise, but this was, you see the missiles kind of streak past this blur in the air, 2 of them failing to find their target, where 3 of them suddenly and you can see this little thing in the air with a small vial about the same size that it is flung up towards the air. The second missile hits it again, and the third one hits it again, and flying towards your face, Meena, is a small golden vial and a tiny... Is that a rabbit? Is that a deer? You have a vial and a rabbit deer thing coming towards you. What do you do, Meena?
Meena tries to catch the rabbit deer thing so she can figure out what it is.
Okay. Go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw.
19.
19. Your hand snatches up and reaches, and suddenly you feel this little thing right into your palm, and you snatch around it. Meanwhile, the vial is flying over Meena's shoulder. Vern, you see your memory jarring through the air, about to smash. Got anything you can do?
Yes, Nomura is near.
Mm-hmm.
Can I how close is Nomura now that I'm not in this place, not into the...
You could feel the presence was probably within 20 feet, 15, 20 feet of you.
Okay, alright. In that case, then his first instinct will to ask Nomura to do it. So he'll like hold his hand out like he's trying to grasp it at it, and Nomura will hop out, just this little cactus cat hop out and try to grab it in its mouth.
Okay. I need you to make a dex save with advantage, since you're helping, basically, psychically, for Nomura.
Okay. Am I using my stats or a cat?
Use the cat stats.
Okay. Let me pull that up real quick. I'll have these handy whenever we all hang
All
out.
good. All good.
Here we go. I think these are it. Oh, thank God they have good decks. Okay. So it's a deck save with advantage, you said?
Yes.
Okay. So first one's natural 20. Second one is the natural 1.
Thankful for the that 20. As you point your hand forward, trying to grasp at it, your mental energy going, Nomura, please. The cat sort of bamps. It's almost like it sort of like you see these little cactus spikes fling up into the air, and then suddenly they all absorb once again. And right behind you, Meena, is this beautiful greenish cat with strange little spikes around it, and in its little teeth, smiling, is the vial.
She wouldn't
Safely
even notice
captured.
the cat. She's staring at the jackal.
Fair enough. I was going to say that it's closed in your fist, so you do have a moment to observe the other strange thing that happens near you. But do you want to open your fist and look at the jackal instead?
She would. Is the jackal fighting in her fist, or is the
Yes. You can feel this, and you got a nice grip on it, for now at least. You can kind of feel, I don't know, it's like you're holding a little bird or small animal in your hand. It's just trying to find its way out.
Okay, so then she would have seen the cat. Because if it's fighting in her hand and not just kind of being calm, she would have kept her hand closed. Once she sees the cat has the vial, she's gonna try to like cup her other hand around it and then like open up the smallest little hole so she can look without letting the jackal out.
Okay. Do you know that scene when we first meet Frank in Donnie Darko?
Yes.
As you slightly open your hands and you peer through and see, it is like the most terrifying rabbit face with giant curly horns, and the expression on this animal's face is pure vengeance and anger and terror, as you see and suddenly can hear in your own little head. What do you do, Meena?
You're kind of disgusting.
You're kind of. Why? Vern? This was not part of the deal, Vern. What's going on? Who are you? Why are you trapping me like this? My one weakness. Hands.
I will be walking to Nomura and grabbing my vial and putting it into my satchel.
Okay.
Are you the jackal?
Of course I'm the jackal.
That is, don't let him free.
Oh, why not?
Guess he's been tormenting me for however long I've been in here.
He's lying. He's the tormentor. That's right. I just wanted something a little nice for once, and I tried to invite him here, and he betrayed me at the
You
instant that he
kidnapped
could.
me. You put me in that. Can I see how this hyperbolic chamber works?
Make an intelligence check. Actually, we'll give you perception. Okay. Since you're so good with magic and all that.
Shit. So that's 7 plus perception.
Mm-hmm.
7 plus 6, so 13.
13. As of right now, the best that you can get is this contraption is somehow bound to some natural or maybe mechanical, although the Feywild doesn't have that many mechanical things. That's weird. System of pulleys that seems to use the water to allow this like track that it travels on to keep whipping it back and forth using the pressure of the water to send it down and then up again and down and then up again. How it got there with that perception check or how you got in it doesn't really click to you very well. You do remember being in your like little abode that you've made for yourself, and
That
you
cave.
had yes, and
It's a
you've
very
been
small cave.
very small cave, and you have been journaling about this new plant that you think that you had discovered as in one of your medical journals, and you had looked towards the plant, and that's the last thing that you could remember as you were trying to make the sketch of it and finish it off. As you looked towards the plant, the next thing you remember was this.
So, Meena, you've come to take me back then.
Well, they sent me here to find you, and taking you back is the end game, but they didn't give me any clues of how to leave the Feywild. Do you know how to leave the Feywild?
If I would have known, I would have been long gone.
That's what I was afraid of. Well, so I guess we're gonna have to figure that out. Maybe Hippolyta might know some stuff. Hippolyta said that she had something that she could trade to the Jackal now because I traded things to her, so maybe we can trade some more stuff to Hippolyta for information on how to leave the Feywild.
Someone wants to trade me something precious?
No one wants to trade you anything, Jackal. Shut up.
No, Hippolyta actually really does want to trade the Jackal something. That's why Hippolyta came here with me.
Well, I think that trade is certainly something that we should allow to happen, Vern. I mean, that's the natural order of things, don't you think?
The natural order of things is me putting you in your hyperbolic chamber and leaving.
Vern, that is the kind of evil I don't come to expect from you, Vern. I've seen all your memories, almost all of them, except for that one you still have. I know who you are, Vern. I know the kind of person you are. You wouldn't do that to little old Jackal.
Do you really?
Yes. The hesitation in its voice.
You think you know. You know what I've lost. And I am all up of patience, Jackal.
Vern, if you will allow me to get something precious, I will leave you alone and consider the rest of our deal done.
You have one chance. One. That is it.
Okay? Let me just, and you could feel that there's a little bit of like a rumble inside your hands there, Meena, and suddenly that barrier around that seemed to be reflecting this whole pool around you shimmers and fades away. And there's this strange creature that maybe at some point you had seen, Vern. There's so many things in so many ways. If you see it from a different angle, it kind of looks like a cat, and then from this angle, it looks like a bird, and from that angle, it looks like a snake. So, which angle have you seen this thing from before? You don't know. But there's Hippolyta going, oh, well, guess you met the Jackal then?
Yeah, he's in my hands, Hippolyta.
Hands are the Jackal's greatest weakness. I imagine he's not in a very good mood to make a trade today. Perhaps I'll be on my way.
Well, no, he wants to make a trade, and I promised him that you would trade with him.
Oh? Is that right, Jackal? Yes, if you have something precious, I will take it. I will take it right away. Well, she said it was precious, of course, so, here you are, and you notice, Vern, the same thing that you saw earlier, Meena, the neck rises up and this long tongue extends out from its throat, its maw, and at the end of the tongue, a little potion bottle flings up into the air towards you, Meena.
She's gonna open her hands to let the Jackal out so he can catch the potion bottle.
Like a trapped animal being released from the cage, the Jackal leaps from your hand up and snags the potion in the air and cradles it towards the ground. As you can see, almost losing track of how small the Jackal is, a little small part of the grass opens. I can feel the preciousness. I can. Oh, I don't know what it does, but it was given to you by someone that was very meaningful to you, wasn't it?
Yeah, she was wonderful.
Oh, and it begins to sort of like it's not eating the actual thing, but it's almost like munching and licking around the outsides of the bottle. Strange kind of situation. Not dealing with the bottle itself, but just the outside parts of it.
Disgusting.
Oh, mm. Oh,
What?
they're precious. It's so precious. It's so precious. I'm done with it, though.
And the bottle just sort of lays on the ground at that point. And Jackal leaps back up and this time lands on your shoulder, Meena. Okay. Jackal has received enough precious goods. What do you need from Jackal?
Do you know of anyone who knows?
Hang on. That was my trade. I think that I'm the one that's supposed to get a favor for a favor, right? I mean, that wasn't your precious thing.
You're
It was
right. You're
my
right.
precious
Sorry,
thing.
Hippolyta. You're right. I did give you that precious thing. Okay. Go ahead.
I want a new job.
I already told you could go adventuring. It's a lot of fun.
No, you don't get how this works,
Okay.
Jackal.
It's not as easy as that.
I want a new job.
All right, let me see.
And you see the Jackal almost blink out of existence for a second, snaps away. There's this awkward silence as you look at Vern and look at Hippolyta, and Hippolyta looks at you and looks to Vern. And suddenly, snapping back into existence, there's the Jackal once again, and the Jackal has a very special bell in its hand. All right. Well, you've been upgraded. You now no longer have to greet the new entries. You simply have to carry their things. And the Jackal launches this bell towards Hippolyta, who snaps it up eagerly. Oh, right, thanks so much. That's going to be so much better. Carrying things. Oh, good. No more introductions, no more awkwardness, no more having to deal with new people. I just get to carry things from one place to another. Thank you, Jackal. You are so merciful, Jackal. I appreciate it, Jackal.
Yes, of course.
Well, that concludes our business then. Goodbye forever, Vern. You, whose name I did not learn.
What?
That was nothing for me, I imagine, so I'll be on my way.
Wait, we don't know.
See you later.
No, wait, Jackal. Vern, the Jackal seems like has a little bit of power. We can't just. Jackal, I have something else that's precious.
Oh?
And she's gonna start rummaging through her bags.
Okay.
Um.
Vern, what are you doing during this?
Well, Vern's actually going to say, be careful what you offer to the Jackal. You might not get it back. Not exactly.
She is going to pull out a bundle of what looks to be dried vines. And she's gonna pull one out and hold it out to the Jackal. These are something that my brother developed. Yeah, he was kind of a botanist of sorts, I guess.
I know many botanists. What was his name? Does this plant look familiar?
Make a nature check.
His name was Brother. He was my brother.
Oh, I'm sure.
He's gone now.
Furbolgs, yes. Nature. That's a 7 on the die with a 9 in nature. So 9 could
16?
16 total.
These vines are not something that you had spent a lot of time studying, but they do seem to fall into, some other textbook. You've read something about ritualistic plants that you could find in the Elderbog and other places like that. And yeah, there's something familiar about that, but you can't quite put your finger on it. Jackal begins to sniff the air. And would losing these things be very crippling to you?
These things are the only things that I have that my brother had.
Ah! And then the Jackal immediately pounces towards the vines and begins to gobble up all around them, all that it can have.
Yes, the preciousness is very nice.
I probably should have warned you before you ate them that they... It's probably too late. Does the
If you have
jackal know how to throw up?
tricked the jackal, even the better. I love tricks. Very nice. Good tricks. Good tricks. Very good tricks. All right.
Has the jackal looked at Vern or myself? It's the doses of the plant of sexiness. Or...
Yes, the sexiness plants. I will come to that in just a moment.
Okay, good.
but
Great.
while that's happening, the jackal has this moment of peace and says, "What do I owe you?"
Information?
Mm-hmm.
How to get out of the Feywild, or where we can find someone who doesn't...
Oh, you are being serious.
Yes.
Oh. Hang on. And then suddenly the jackal folds out of existence for a moment. And the birds stand there awkwardly again.
I hope it was worth it, whatever you gave up.
It was a plant. I still have my memories of him, so it's not really like anything else. So
Do you?
I think so. Do I? Still have my memories of brother?
Yeah, they're there.
Yeah, I can still remember brother. Do you not have your memories?
Not all of them.
Well, that might prove problematic. Ashrin thinks that you're the answer to everything, so that means that Solana thinks that you're the answer to everything.
How much time has passed? If Ashwin's still alive.
She's gonna take out the pamphlet that Solana gave her, the one sheet page, and hand it over, pointing out to him, it says that you disappeared 120 years ago? How long have you been in the Feywild?
You haven't... I mean, I guess, no, you've been making your own journals, and I imagine that you're writing the journals in common for the most part. So you've been keeping up with your skills enough to be able to check this and to read this. And yes, you remember, of course, an incredibly young Solana and a fairly young Ashrin, but they've been around for a long time. But yeah, 120 years. They could still be alive. Be getting up there, though.
This is wrong. I was 273 when I went in, but I'm not 200 and not 300. I'm 473.
What? You're how old?
Or almost 500 now.
You've been gone 120 years on our plane. How long have you lived here?
I can't remember.
But you know that you're 473?
My journals do, at least. And I'll pull out my journal and I'll show how I've been keeping track of my age. Or trying to. It's my best guess.
Okay.
Time different here.
So I've been warned. Do you think the jackal will be able to at least point us to someone who can find our way out?
The jackal is tricky and not to be trusted, but when a deal is made, he tends to keep with it. Except on one instance.
Right at that moment, you see the fabric of time bounce back and sort of landing near the stump once more is the jackal. And the jackal has a very interesting coin in its hand. Okay. I did some snooping. Sorry that took a little longer. I needed to have an intimate coupling with someone once I got there, but that's beside the point. From what we understand, there is a matching thing that looks a lot like this back on your plane.
Coin.
And with the right kinds of magical abilities, they should be able to link up together and send you right back.
There's probably hundreds of thousands of coins on our plane.
They said this one's a bit special.
Let me see. I'll hold my hand out to Jackal.
The coin flips in the air towards you and it lands in your palm. This coin is ancient. Very, very old.
Well, like even compared to me?
Compared to you, that's older than you are.
Um,
Tarnished, but also not in the worst shape. It's not falling apart or anything. There's a distinct head bust of someone. You flip it over, and there's a distinct animal image on the other side. You roll it back and forth.
Can I tell if there's anything magical about it? That'd be my first instinct. If I can tell if there's any like arcane runes on it or anything like that.
There are no obvious arcane markings on the coin at all.
I don't suppose you know much about religion, Meena.
I know a lot about Saloon.
Is this one of hers then? And I'll hold the coin out.
I'll look at it and see if there's any moon markings or anything.
Nothing that seems to involve the moon. Just some sort of weird old bust of a human, maybe, or an elf or something. And then on the backside, as you look at the animal a little bit more, you don't even quite recognize what the animal is. Maybe some kind of sea creature. Your best guess?
No, it's not a coin from Saloon.
Jackal isn't one to lie, but it's a start. We can.
But we only have this coin. Are there ways to communicate with people on the other side?
I'm sorry, that's sort of the extent of the whole favor thing that I've got here, and I've got many other things to do now that I've had my proper precious meal for the century, as well as a little more action in the sack than I imagined I would have. Good luck, everybody.
Oh wait, did you throw up?
Oh. No?
Interesting. I wish brother was around.
Jackal out. And then suddenly flips away.
Brother probably would have been really interested to find out that fey creatures don't throw up after eating those.
They don't typically throw up, even when you force them to.
Have you forced a lot of fey creatures to throw up?
I've had to try.
Why?
Things are bigger than me.
Oh, from the inside?
Yes.
Were they animals?
I can't remember. I think this coin... I think I can find my way back to my home. If you go there, we can look into it more.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really have any other choices at this point, do we?
The choice is very clear now.
The choice is clear?
Yes. For quite some time I've been alone. And I thought I would be here forever. But you gave me hope.
So the choice is...
Spend however much time I have and get home.
Well, that's the same choice that I'm going for, too. So, yeah. That sounds good.
Great. Mind your feet. Some plants are a bit nippy on the way over. I'll try and lead Meena back to my cave.
Your interactions with the jackal prior to this, you kind of knew where its den was. And once again, that chamber is still available for whatever thing that Vern may want to experiment on later.
Yes, you will want to experiment with it later.
It's a pretty crazy hike. It's going to take you the better, you know, that to get there on foot, it's going to take you the better part of a week to march through the Fae to get back to your little safe spot. As you begin to head out and move in the other direction, right towards the edge of this, where the barrier once was, there is a small little growth of flowers. And Vern, you recognize that that flower is the same one you were staring at last night.
What is this? Can I kneel down and pick it up?
You can see the flowers just sort of gleaming in the wind of the Fae, the waterfall still crashing around them. And you can hear a little voice in your head going,
I know what you like. See you soon, Vern.
I'll pluck one of the flowers and I'll open up my journal and I'll press it into the journal. Let's hope not.
And you begin to make your way together through the sprawling Feywild. There'll be some more little fun adventures and stuff, some of which I think we'll probably do via just messaging each other and talking through how this works.
Mhm.
But Meena, on your way through, overcoming some obstacles, you're able to level up to level 9.
Yay!
Through the help of Vern, overcoming some strange things along the way, and we'll certainly let everybody know about that.
And what fey creatures can I now wild shape into is the real question.
Another good question for us to discuss over text, and to get everybody back with our season 3 premiere, which, depending on when you're watching this, might not matter to you, but hopefully you're watching it before August 8th, because Season 3 will reconvene with Party Foul on August 8th at 8 p.m. on twitch.tv/Mindari. I switched my music to something a little more upbeat once again, but we are just so happy that you stuck with us, and these things always go a little longer than I imagine they will, but it's so much fun to play with these creative folks and see how they outsmarted or outwitted or got outwitted or whatever else is next. Why is that music not playing?
I can do it vocally.
Thank you. Is that working on your end, Mandy? There we go. But thank you all once again for watching our little split the party here. Welcome, Vernon. Vern. How do you say it again? Darn it.
It's Vernon Tenuous Alessandorels.
Yes, or Vern, as I will probably forever call
Vern Ellison.
Vern Ellison. Welcome. We'll see what you and Meena are up to, whether they can get you back on the material plane once again. And we just hope to see you all live at our Season 3 premiere on August 8th. We love you. We'll catch you very soon. Bye.
Bye.